Welcome back from break. Chris Ballantyne joined by Hugh Headley. Hugh, let's start off with the Northeast Division of the Eastern Conference. The Stanley Cup Boston Bruins are in this division. Now, that's kind of weird still saying it now. And we're a few months removed from the Stanley Cup.
The last 2 years have been very tough to say a lot of the teams that have won, the Boston Bruins and the Chicago Blackhawks, because it's been a long time since both of these teams franchises have won. So you know it's a little hard to say. It's hard to believe that Boston is the team going into the playoffs. Some people did pick Boston to win, but you just didn't ever see it. I mean, they almost lost to Montreal in the first round. So it's hard to say, but they're going to be good this year.
I think they're going to be good. I think one thing we're going to see come out this year from Beantown is I think you're going to see Tuukka Rask start to take over a few more starts from Tim Thomas. I don't think Tim Thomas can repeat what he did last year, and I think you're going to start seeing the changing of the guard slowly. I think Thomas remains the goalie for the most part of this year, but I think this is Thomas's last year in Boston. I think the changing of the guard is going to happen.
Well, they did try to ship him out of town 2 years ago. He was injured, so that made it harder to ship him out, and nobody was really interested, so they just held on to him. But,
and he played well.
He played well.
I don't think he can keep it up, though, is essentially what I'm trying to get to.
What's interesting, though, is that last year they weren't starting him. They started Tuukka.
I know.
And then
well, that's what I'm saying.
I
think
over.
And Rask is too good of a goalie. It's similar to the Vancouver situation. Schneider is a very good goalie. I don't think he can take on Roberto Luongo, but he's a good goalie. So let's talk about the Canadian teams here. We got Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal in this division. I'm going to go for a surprise here, Hugh.
You are. I can feel it now.
Yep. The Toronto Maple Leafs will make the playoffs this year.
Oh, that wasn't a surprise.
That's a surprise.
I thought you could say Ottawa.
No. Oh, Ottawa. Ottawa will be. No, Ottawa's going to be down there. I think Ottawa's going to be in the Matt Dumba sweepstakes down there. So I think Ottawa's going to struggle. I'd like to see Jason Spezza have a bounce back year. He's too good of a player to play the way he has the last 2 seasons. I look for him to have a bounce back season, but I look for the Leafs. I like some of the moves that Brian Burke has done in Toronto, and James Reimer, I think, is the real deal.
We think.
I think he is.
I think they're making the playoffs too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Who else you got coming out?
Out of this division?
Yeah.
I got most of this division coming out, actually.
Really?
Buffalo, Boston, Montreal, and Toronto all in the playoffs.
Really? See, and this is where
divisions.
I disagree a little bit here. I look at Montreal to miss this season. I think they take a step back this year. Carey Price played well last year. The defense played okay. I just don't see them hanging around this year. I see them in that 9-10 hole. I think they're going to be just on the outside. Sorry to all you Canadian fans. Please send all your hate mail to Shaw. Sports Talk at shaw.ca.
Send it to me. I don't care. I don't like the Montreal.
Well, I don't think Montreal's making it. I think Buffalo's going to be good. They're still over the salary cap just prior to the start of the season here, so they got to make another little trade or two. But Buffalo's going to be better. Boston's good, and Toronto's your surprise team in the Northeast.
Sort of.
Surprise to us. Well, surprise to most people.
Surprise to most people. Yeah.
I can't believe we agree on this.
Toronto hasn't been in for a while, so everybody's going to be excited about that in Leaf
Canada's
Nation.
team.
Yes, they are.
Moving on to the Atlantic Division, we have Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New York, New Jersey, and the Islanders. Can we agree on one thing? The Islanders will not make the playoffs?
No,
and New Jersey?
The Islanders, no, this is a good team. They're young, they're useless.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah.
The Islanders ain't going nowhere. Don't put any money on them. You could have...
Jersey?
You could keep... Oh, New Jersey.
Both. What about both?
What Jersey?
They can wear whatever jersey they want.
New Jersey will not... Even if New Jersey wears their green Christmas pants, they will not be making the playoffs. And not in my estimation. They're not the team to make the playoffs out of that area.
So let's show the board here quickly. We're looking at this division here, and I look at something. Hugh, you don't have the Rangers making the playoffs.
No.
And I don't have Philly making the playoffs.
What?
I just think the changes that Philadelphia made will cause the team. They're going to start slow like the Eagles, and it's just not going to be, there's going to be a lot of tension happening there. They might even go through a coaching change. The Flyers will not make it. The Rangers get in on Brad Richards, and I think Gaborik is going to have a good year.
This is how it goes. You just want to dig every Philadelphia team.
No. I think the Phillies are going to win the World Series.
Oh yeah, I'm a Phillies fan. All right, well, I really.
What's your thought on the Rangers? Let's go there first.
The Rangers, my thought process is the Rangers I don't think Brad Richards really helps them that much. I think Brad Richards is a good player. I just have a feeling that Brad Richards is past, he got paid way too much money. Now he could just relax, slack off, and that's what he's going to do.
And Philly?
Philly's going to gel. They're going to figure out a way to get it together. They're going to gel. They got the goaltending. They have young talent, and their coach can get it together. I think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to be in there. Yep.
Well, there's our first real disagreement here on the panel. Let's move to the Southeast. We have Washington.
Pittsburgh's in.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's in. I think, sorry, we skipped
With
over.
or without Sid.
I think with or without Sid, Pittsburgh's in. I think Crosby will come back. He'll play 60, 65 games, and he will finish with 100 points in those 60, 65 games.
Wow.
I think he's gonna pick up where he left off last year. He's skating hard. Oh yes. Let's move over to the Southeast. We'll get back to Pittsburgh in a second. Yeah,
right.
We'll get to some predictions
Okay.
here. Southeast Division. We have Washington, Tampa, Carolina. It's not Atlanta anymore. It's
No,
now
it's
the
not.
Winnipeg Jets
I was gonna change
and
your
the
sheet.
Florida
Winnipeg.
Panthers. I don't need a cheat sheet, Hugh. So let's move on. I need that. Thank you. So let's look at this division. I think let's start with the Winnipeg Jets. It's a return of the Jet. We're not going to talk about the uniforms. We're not going to talk about logos. We're going to talk about the team. This is a good young nucleus, but I don't think they have enough to make the playoffs.
They don't have enough to make the playoffs. It hurts me to say that. I think they might actually be close. And I'm only saying this because I think the start of the season and their home games are going to be where they're going to get most of their wins. The end of the season, I think they're going to be just jet lagged, tired. They're not going to be able to get wins. Now, we could be completely wrong, and maybe these guys have so much grit and toughness. They're going to be able to get through it all and beat these other teams that are doing. But it's not likely going to happen. Sorry, Winnipeg fans. I'm a Jets fan too, so don't. I
think you're right.
Here.
I think the travel will take its toll. I mean, it's like Detroit going out west a lot. It does take its toll on a team, and you have to take that into consideration.
And Detroit's an experienced team, so they're used to it. They know what to expect. You know, a lot of guys have been there for more than 3 or 4 years. A lot of the Jets are only 3-4 years into it, and they're playing in Atlanta. And playing in the East in Atlanta is completely different to playing in, because Atlanta is central. In a way, to Florida or to going to Philadelphia or New York. Those are close places, close little trips to Toronto, Montreal. Being in the central of the North America, that's tough.
Yeah. So I look at this division. I look for Washington to run away. I look for Washington to win this conference again. I think they're the #1 seed going into playoff time. I think they go back to the offensive style that they played 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Not last year where they scored in the bottom 5 of goals. So I look for them to come back. I also look for Tampa to be good again as well.
Okay. See, and this is where I'm disagreeing with myself, because I've written other places that I think that Washington's going to be #1, and that's not right.
Really?
I think Tampa's going to be #1.
Really?
Yeah, I think Tampa's actually got that.
I think Stamkos has a breakout year. I think this is the year of Stamkos.
And that, just saying that is a scary thought. Like, what is a breakout year for a superstar? You know, like if Stamkos has a breakout year, look out.
130 points. So I also see Carolina making it. You don't have them on your sheet. I have Carolina making it. No. I think they sneak in that 8th spot. They defeat Montreal on the last day in a shootout goal by Jeff Skinner. That's my prediction. That's how.
So you think Skinner's going to have a good year?
I think he's going to have an okay year. I don't think he's having a good year. I just said he's going to score the game winner to send Montreal out. That's all I said. I didn't say he's having a good year. I think Eric Stahl has a good year.
Yeah,
I think Cam Ward has a good. I think they've got some good nucleus there. Picking up Caberlet might help them. I don't see how it can hurt them. So I look into that. So let's ask you. I just asked you about 10 minutes ago about the top 2 teams. Who's going to be in the final 2 for the Eastern Conference? The West, you said Detroit, Chicago. With Chicago going, I said Detroit, Chicago. With Detroit going, who's going to the Stanley Cup Finals to meet the Red Wings or Blackhawks?
Well, I think the final 2 is going to be Boston, Washington.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think Boston, Washington are going to be the final 2. But that said, Washington fans will not see their team go over the hump. Once again, Boston will go to the final.
Right.
They have that good a team.
I will agree with you on that. I do think Washington is going to approach that hump. I don't think they get over it. I'm going to go back with the Pittsburgh Penguins, actually. I think the Penguins have something. There's something about this Penguins team that I like.
The fact that you have Sid Crosby in your pool, is that what you like?
I know. Only an idiot would trade Sid Crosby in a hockey pool.
It seems like you have this Sid love and this...
And Malkin. I love Malkin.
Penguins love that is, unwarranted.
I just think there's something about this team. Marc-Andre Fleury seems to have his head on straight. You look at last year, he struggled mightily in that first 2 months. Again, only an idiot would trade him in a hockey pool, right?
I did, by the way.
Not this idiot, another idiot.
Yeah. Well,
but I look for Pittsburgh to get back, and this is finally the matchup that Detroit fans and Pittsburgh fans have waited for. This is the trilogy. This is match number 3, and the Red Wings will take the Stanley Cup. We got Chicago or Boston, you think's going there?
Chicago and Boston. I'm going to go this one. This is going to be Boston again, repeat.
Wow. that's it. That's it for Sports Talk. There's our in-depth look at the NHL season. Again, if you have any comments or concerns, or you just want to tell somebody why they shouldn't trade Sidney Crosby, it's sportstalk@shaw.ca. That's it. We'll see you next time.
He'll never be the same, ever.